Election 2012 is in the history books, but some of the lessons to be learned are just being digested. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Own the Vote. I'm Robert Traynham. I'm joined by Kristen Soltis Anderson, Republican pollster and campaign strategist. Kristen, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
So, I don't even know where to begin with this election because that just happened, because there were so many false expectations and false hope on the Republican side. I remember very vividly reading the press releases from the Romney campaign around Halloween, saying, ironically, it was Halloween. They were saying, we are going to win by 300 electoral votes. We will have a mandate going into the inauguration. There will be a President Romney. They were so on it, but they were also so wrong. Why?
So a lot of folks were just saying, does this feel like 2008 or does it feel like 2004? How does it feel? And a lot of folks thought it would be almost impossible for Barack Obama to recreate that 2008 magic again, intensity, turnout, all of that. So a lot of pollsters on the right seemed to think that this was going to be an election that would be a little more favorable to Republicans. You'd see these huge rallies showing up for Mitt Romney, tens of thousands of people, and you'd say, this isn't, that John McCain didn't get that. This is different. It's a whole new ball game. So then when the public polls would come out in some of these swing states and would show Mitt Romney down by 2, 3, 4, 5 points, there were a lot of pollsters that looked at that and said, I don't know if I believe it, because it just wasn't matching up with what people were feeling on the ground.
So let me apply that question to you in terms of what you were feeling and what the data was showing you. When did you know that the president was going to, or there was a high likelihood that the president was going to get reelected?
So after that first debate, I became very optimistic that Mitt Romney might pull it off. But it was about 2 weeks out when I really went to sit down. Actually, a friend of mine wanted me to make my electoral college predictions. And in my mind, I had these things like a state like Wisconsin, where I assumed, well, Paul Ryan's from Wisconsin, and the Scott Walker recall favored Republicans in Wisconsin.
The ground game is there.
Maybe they can pick up Wisconsin. And then I went and I looked at all of the public polls from Wisconsin, and there wasn't one of them that showed Mitt Romney up. Not one credible one that showed Mitt Romney ahead. That was a real wake-up call for me. If you looked at the data, there was almost no way to assume that Mitt Romney was going to lose, or Mitt Romney was going to win a state like Ohio. States like Virginia and Florida, most of the polls showed Barack Obama doing very well or it being razor thin. It was very hard looking at public polls to come to any other conclusion.
So why did the Romney campaign say and do what they did? They said that they perhaps could win Pennsylvania. They went to the state of Pennsylvania. They said that they would win Ohio, and nothing bear fruit.
Yep, and I think campaigns like to project that confidence. Nobody wants to go into the home stretch conceding, well, it looks like we're down, it looks like we might pull it off. You want to be projecting that confidence because you want your donors to stay engaged, you want your supporters to stay energized, you want everyone to feel like there's a fighting chance. Was
this a head game?
I think that may have been part of it. I mean, that's part of why Republicans always go after Pennsylvania, even though it's Democratic every time. They always sort of make that play for it. I mean, there were a lot of assumptions that Republicans were making that just didn't pan out. They were expecting that young voters would be a smaller proportion of the electorate. Instead, they grew. They were expecting that Latino voters, maybe they'd pick up more of them. They actually picked up fewer than them of 4 years ago. All these dominoes fell, and it led to a loss for Romney. We
have about 30 seconds left. My last question for you. With the benefit of hindsight, what do you think the Romney campaign should have done?
I think that he needed to come out and be more positive about his own plan and more specific earlier on. That's what he did so well in that first debate. He was talked more about his 5-point plan for the middle class. He talked about ways that he had been bipartisan as governor. That was a turning point for him. Wish it had come earlier.
Kristen Soltis Anderson, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And of course, thank you for joining us for this edition of Own the Vote. I'm Robert Traynham. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care.